Hello. Today we will be talking about the Netflix series The Queen's Gambit. It's a story about a young lady, her struggle with addiction, also alcohol and drugs, and her chess playing ability. She is a child prodigy genius. The thought just hit my mind, she's sort of like a Paul Morphy figure, if you think about it. She goes about, once she comes of age, in destroying all of her opponents. It's a series that's on Netflix currently, and I've watched it. I finished watching it, all 7 episodes. This is a must episode if you are a chess player, a chess lover of the game. We're going to be covering her battle with the former world champion Dmitry Luchenko, where Elizabeth Harmon, she has black. Now, the producer of the movie, he also consulted different people. He consulted Garry Kasparov also. And Garry came up with a position, well, it's an actual game that was played. And Garry improved on that game. And that is the idea, the premise. When they play the game, that's the actual game that you will be seeing. We're going to go over that game, the game that Garry Kasparov contributed to the movie. Again, the actual game was from a 1988 tournament between Grandmaster Arshak Petrosian and Grandmaster Vladimir Akopian, where the game was drawn. But we will have a decisive result in this game in favor of Beth. They had to renumber the moves for their German purposes. It was reaching move 40 where they could adjourn the game. I think it was the 41st move. It was a move after German, of course. And let me see. I had some favorite characters in this movie that I really enjoyed. Of course, Beth Harmon. She's my favorite. She's the star of the series. But you have what's his name? Benny Watts. This character right here. If I could let me try to pull him up here. Yeah, this is Benny Watts. He was the U.S. champion. He's played by the actor Thomas Brody Sangster. I believe that's his name. And this guy's really cool. He wears this hat and this leather jacket. He also carries around a knife. This is a total spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. And he's real cool. I like the way that he's dressed. Everybody, all the young chess players will probably want to grow up to be like Benny Watts. With this cool hat right here and this outfit. This guy's something else. He's a character. The person that she's playing was a former world chess champion in the movie. And his name is Luchenko. He was a former world chess champion, and he defeated the great Allan in an exhibition when he was young. And here's the intro. I like this intro where Luchenko comes on board here. Let me see. Here it is.
Luchenko is the oldest player here. World champion.
The intro.
He defeated the great
He's coming in, and they're describing his past achievements.
And crushed Bronstein in Havana. While he's no longer the tiger,
he's really slick.
He's a dangerous player when allowed to attack. Harmon will have to be very careful.
Greets Beth, and they're getting ready to play their game. This is the game that we will be going over right here. So that's pretty neat right there.
Luchenko is the oldest player here.
And the actor, let me see, I'm trying to look up his name here. His name is Marcus Logis. He's an actor and a producer also, this gentleman right here. Okay, now let's get to the game. Again, Garry Kasparov, he contributed to the game. I have their names here, Dmitry Luchenko and Beth Harmon. She has black. This is the end part is fictional for the game, but again, this is an actual game that was played in 1988 between Arshak Petrosian and Grandmaster Vladimir Akopian. I'm not too familiar with Grandmaster Arshak Petrosian. Not getting confused with the great Tigran Petrosian. Okay, let's go to infinite analysis here. So let's go over this game. This is the game that was played in the movie. The actual game. And when we get to the position that Garry contributed to, the alternate ending, which was played, that Beth Harmon played in the movie, I'll let you know. It's move 38, as you can see here. So d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight f3, bishop g7. We have a King's Indian. It's a King's Indian fianchetto variation. White plays g3, castle, bishop g2, d6, knight c3, knight b d7, castles, e5. Now the actual game again was drawn, but we have an alternate ending here for the game thanks to Garry Kasparov. h3, c6, c6. This c6 is now protecting d5 from a knight intrusion. e4 taking up space, advancing that e4 pawn. Black captures d4, then knight takes d4. Beth centralizes the rook e1. Then we have bishop e3, knight c5, queen c2, queen e7, rook f, bishop d7, knight b3. This is a good move, knight b3. Even the computer suggested it. Notice that black is hitting the d4 pawn, but he dare not take because of the discovered attack. The bishop can move. The queen is in line with the rook here on e1. So if he were to take the pawn, there could be discoveries once the captures are complete here. And he did not take the pawn, or she rather, Beth Harmon did not take the pawn because of the potential discoveries here along the e file. Beth plays bishop d7. Dmitry Luchenko, former world champion. He was one of the older opponents in the movie also during that tournament. I believe it was a Moscow championship. Knight b3, knight takes, a takes. Then c5. I kind of like this pawn being situated on c6 because it keeps the knight out of d5. But, yeah. But if we keep the position as it is for black, black may be slightly cramped. I'm not sure. Maybe we go for a6, b5. But we go c5. Beth plays c5. Luchenko plays queen to d2. Beth places her bishop on c6 because white is planning to build pressure along the d file, attacking the d6 square. Bishop to c6 so that she can swing a rook over to d8, helping to protect d6. So she goes bishop c6, rook a, hitting d6, and then rook e d8. Could she have played rook a d8? I wonder. Computer says simply to move the queen to d8. So if queen takes queen, Yeah, yeah, computer does prefer rook a d8. But Beth plays rook e d8. Luchenko, he pins the knight, the f6 knight, bishop g5, rook d7, planning maybe to double on the d file, making sure that d6 pawn is secure. b4. b4 was not that great a move. Beth simply takes b4. Luchenko plays the knight in the d5. Beth takes because there's too much pressure, hitting that pin f6 knight also. So we have e takes d5, hitting the queen. Queen moves. And white is perfectly fine here. Then white plays queen takes b4. Beth plays b6, stopping any c5 ideas. h4, h6, hitting the bishop. The bishop moves, putting pressure on d6. White is better. Knight h5, attacking the bishop. Bishop h3, attacking the d7 rook. Rook back. Now, Luchenko has to do something about this f4 bishop that's being attacked. He plays it all the way back to c1. Beth plays bishop e5. King g2. Rook e8. White is much better. Bishop d7, and that bishop is going to go to c6, hitting both e8 and a8. Hitting the rook and rook c8. The bishop is powerful on c6. There's hardly any way to get rid of it. The knight is all the way on h5. If the knight were to try to get over there, that's a long way. White has a decisive, almost decisive advantage, actually. Queen to d2, computer, yeah, queen to d2. Hitting h6, king up, protecting h6. And white can do anything at will here. Luchenko has a very good position. Computer suggests f4. Queen d3. Queen d3 seems to lose Luchenko's advantage. So f4, the bishop would have to move. And then g4. Knight moves. They exchange. Computer likes f4, then g4, hitting the knight. For instance, here we go. Computer likes here, f4, not bishop g7. The knight needs an escape route, maybe f6 or g7, but bishop all the way back. And then g4, hitting the knight. Knight f6, but can he play g5 here? Computer has something better in mind. Then you just simply exchange and then hit the queen again. So we exchange. I'm going to cancel that. So we exchange. New variation. Then queen takes. Then rook to e1. Then queen moves. I'm trying to find out what the idea. Then, okay, then white doubles. White takes control of the e file. And then g5. I knew g5 had to be in there somewhere. So white takes control. Rook moves. And then g5 is coming. So that's kind of powerful. But queen to d3 kind of throws the advantage, the big advantage away. So Beth plays rook c7. And computer prefers f5 here. But rook c7, b3. Neither player is taking great advantage here. b4 is preferred. But rook c7, b3, then f5, rook e2, f4. Beth is starting an attack here. So So when Luchenko played rook e2, he allowed f4. That turns the table slightly. What he should have played maybe was b4. So black's position has improved quite significantly. And then g4. Well, black has advantage now. So we have f3 check. Queen must take. And then you hit the queen with rook f7. Attacking f2 also. Queen moves. Now we have to see what we do with the knight. Actually, queen to h3 was better. But Luchenko made a slight inaccuracy here. Well, a big inaccuracy. Now that allows knight check, bishop takes, rook takes, hitting g4. If the queen were on h3, g4 would be covered. So Luchenko plays f3. Now, here in this is the position that Garry Kasparov came up with a brilliant idea here. Now, the move that was played during the 1988 match was rook c f7, which was this move. That was the actual move that Akopian played rook c f7 here. But Kasparov came up with a better idea. Kasparov came up with the h5 here for this game. So, in this fictional game, Beth Harmon plays h5, which is a brilliant move. Let's go through the rest of the game first. Beth plays h5. Luchenko takes. And then comes the outstanding king h8, which is an absolutely brilliant move. Excuse me. White can't play queen takes g6 because of rook to g7. So white plays h takes. Then rook takes. Let me go back here. Yeah, king here. But what if rook to h1? He also has rook to d4 in the cards here. This probably doesn't do, and yeah. Well, then you just play, you just play g takes, and this rook is threatening to come over. So we have, so h takes. Also, rook to e4 was playable. So we have h takes, then rook takes h4. And white is in a very bad situation here. Luchenko plays rook to h1, trying to oppose that rook. Then comes the brilliant rook c h7. You can't take the rook because of mate. If white plays pawn takes, then you have mate and h, starting with queen g7. So that's out the question. So Beth just casually plays rook c h7. Luchenko plays rook g1. Beth moves the attack rook out the way. She has control of the h file, and the king is in trouble here. The king is unprotected here. Got rook here. Rook d4. So Luchenko moves the king out the way, king f1, then king to g7, blocking the advance of the pawn, which would spoil the attack. So we have king g7. Then, I mean, there's nothing that white can do here, actually. Then bishop d7. Then rook d4. Attacking the queen. Queen to e3. Now this is the end. Rook d1 check, rook there. And then bishop d4. And Luchenko resigns in this position. And Beth wins. Again, this is a real game up to move 38. But in the movie, the game was adjourned. This was move 40. The game was adjourned until the next day. And the next day, Beth plays h5, which is absolutely brilliant move. So I just wanted to go over this game because it's interesting. And I also have the Chess Life magazine and the cover, and she's on the cover of Chess Life. So that's pretty neat. Let me try to get this capture going here. Oops, I'm in the wrong position here. All right. So she's also on the cover of Chess Life. You have to watch this movie. See if you can see that. The Queen's Gambit. Brilliant movie. Absolutely wonderful movie. All people, everyone that loves chess, you have to check this out. This Netflix series, you have to check it out. It's a 7-parter. Right now, it's actually still #1 on Netflix. Trending is #1 on Netflix. All right, so I just thought we'd go over this game between Dmitry Luchenko and Beth Harmon. Beth, who is the genius, prodigy, was a young prodigy and was taught the game in the orphanage home. All these are spoiler alerts. I hope you've seen the movie already. You should have if you play chess. Okay, thanks for watching. Let me make sure I have gone over everything here. Okay. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Take care.